Proleague Round 2, Bonus Edition. Since I was really having a good time casting eSTRO versus SKT, I'm also gonna eSTRO SKT versus Woongjin. I'm also gonna cast eSTRO versus KT. Especially if I can convince the YouTube video not to have that little loading thing. See, I'm learning things. I didn't have to restart this one because I learned how to poke Flash Player and make it not be a piece of crap. So I think SKT and KT are very similar in a lot of ways. They have a lot of the big name players, and KT is sort of they're both expected, I think, by their sponsors to be the top, the high caliber teams, the creme de la creme, and obviously SKT pulled that off, winning Pro League last season, and KT really has been dominant this season. They've been, in R1, they were just scary. It hasn't been going quite so well for them in R2, but I don't think that it's hard for any of the particular rounds to be that indicative of a team's play. Actually, I lied. They're not doing all that terrible in round 2. Looking at the stats that I'm not going to spoil for you, they're just still doing reasonably well. So I think they're really, honestly, I think they're the best team in Pro League right now. And that's due in a large part to Flash, really, because they're not like SKT has stars. They have more stars than Woongjin stars. They got more stars than they know what to do with. You look at KT's roster, you have Flash, and then well, the reason they failed so much last year is that you have Flash, and then you have a bunch of question marks. Luxury has really been back in form. He was slumping so hard after his MSL win? Yes, MSL win. He was slipping so hard after his MSL win in the past year, but he's really been back in form. In R1, I put him on my anti-team in fantasy, and then he proceeded to destroy everybody. And so I have a huge pouty face right now. But for KT, that's great to see him back in form, and that's really, to be honest with you, that's the reason they're doing good instead of being mediocre to bad. They're top on Pro League because they have Flash and one other player who's reasonable, and 4 or 5 other players who can take a game from time to time. I mean, obviously, you don't expect Fire Fist or 815 really to be all that epic, or Tempest. But they're not terrible, and they can take games. Actually, apparently 815 is not even that terrible. I guess I agree with that. I haven't seen 1815 play recently because Luxury's been pretty much filling up all the Zerg slots for KT. And there's Flash. He's looking so determined. He's like, actually, he doesn't look determined. He looks like, I want to win so I can go home and think about Kara some more, think about Nicole. You have to read the Team Liquid forums if you want to get that. So here we can see the standings, and obviously, bam, KT way ahead, 3 wins ahead and 4 less losses than the second place team. So they're obviously dominant right now, and that's going to be we'll see if they can carry that on to, I don't know, whatever the end of this season actually looks like. Kespa keeps changing the season structure around. I don't know if we're going to see probably Winners League format after this for a round or 2, is the theory. I don't know if that's actually been completely decided. Korean, what might this say? It's really not all that illuminating. They don't have any, and there's no data on either side. So here we see our wonderfully pink-shirted commentating crew in Korea. I think I'm going to try to skip ahead here because I really don't have much other introductory stuff to say about this matchup. I guess I can go through the players. Action of Violet is going to be the set, if it ever actually starts. There's no action right now, there's just Koreans talking. Then we're going to have Gosi flying versus Hoja. Gosi has really been, or rather I suppose I should say flying, since Gosi is his clan tag. Flying has really been interesting lately. He's been producing a lot of interesting, fun Zerg play. He's very new. He really just broke out in between the last Pro League season and this one. He's only got 11 total recorded televised games, so he's obviously super new. And oh wow, we get to see data now. Let's see. First one means I don't know. Second one means KT is clearly better. They win more sets. I don't actually care about all this data. Let's fast forward to the match. Nya, 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 nya. Game. Whoa, back up a second. There we go. Okay, let's happen here. So here we have Action, the orange Zerg in the top right. Violet's going to be the white Protoss in the bottom right at that like 5 o'clock position. Action looks really funny. And Violet, he looks bored. He's like, I guess I have to play StarCraft. I scratch my face a little bit. And we see on Fighting Spirit, right? Yes, Fighting Spirit is the map. Fighting Spirit, I'm going to bring a picture of this up and stick it on the screen. It's going to be awesome if I can figure out how to size it properly. Fighting Spirit is all up in your stuff. So Fighting Spirit, you can see that if you want to scout between these two bases, you have to scout like this if you scout by land. So if you send your Overlord to here and then to here, you can see scouting probes coming at you, and you can know right here where your opponent is. So that worked out completely like Action wanted. So he's got all the scouting information he needs, and he'll have his Overlord being annoying, telling him everything that Gosi is doing. Again, a wall of text from a Korean who is hiding behind it as a shield. Overpull build here from Action. Exactly standard. Really, Overpull is so good ZVP, I don't understand why. I guess if you're a pro, you have to be a little bit interesting and switch up your build orders from time to time, otherwise you could turn into Flash, and if you're not Flash, then you lose. If you're Flash, you still continue winning because you're just that good. So you gotta mix it up once in a while, but Overpull is really so good, because especially on this map, that rush distance we saw before, I'm not gonna bring it back, but that rush distance is super short. Versus Overpull, Violet's gonna have to go two cannons before Nexus, and okay, maybe he's not going to go for 2 cannons before Nexus. We'll see. This isn't safe at all. As you can see, Zerglings, 3 eggs of Zerglings, 6 Zerglings already building before his first cannon even goes down. The timing, it's going to be close since Action went for that expansion, which is unfortunate. I think he is going to send in Violet. Wow, using his probe there on the ramp to try to slow the Zerglings down. Since Action's Overlord didn't quite get there fast enough to see... Well, it doesn't get there fast enough to see the Nexus before he puts down the hatchery in his expansion, so then that slows down his Zerglings a little bit and stops the push. We do see 1 cannon is up here for Violet, but that's a huge block, as the Koreans are saying. It's not really, yeah, it's not what he's trying to hold, though. Yeah, he blocks off 3 probes, clogs up all the holes, so now Action has to run all the way around here, or attempt to force his way through those probes. And either way, once that second cannon comes up, he's not going to be able to do that. So it was a little bit risky move for Violet there. There we go, that's the Protoss player. For Violet, but it seems to have paid off. It doesn't really help him all that much, but at least he didn't lose, so that's good for him.